This is your news source evening bulletin for today, Thursday, the 27th day of May in the year 2021. I'm Gordon Mosley. Here's what we're tracking tonight. Chief Justice Roxanne George today granted a request by the Director of Public Prosecutions and the Police Commissioner to get access to the statements of poll and statements of recount for the last elections. The request for the documents was made as the police and the DPP continue to build a case against a number of election officials and other persons who have been charged with electoral fraud. The documents have been in the possession of the court for several weeks, and the court will now facilitate copies being handed over to the police and the Director of Public Prosecutions. Chief Election Officer Keith Lowenfield, who is also facing charges, made an attempt to join the court matter through his attorney, but that was dismissed by the Chief Justice. Mr. Lowenfield was contending that the documents ought to be only released as part of an election petition case and not a criminal matter. The Chief Justice did not find favor with that argument. In her ruling, the Chief Justice said the Chief Election Officer has not shown how the release of the documents will affect him, while pointing out that the documents are not Mr. Lowenfield's personal documents, but rather they belong to the Elections Commission. She said the Chief Election Officer cannot be a party to block the request for the release of the documents. The Chief Justice also pointed out that if there was reluctance on the part of the Chief Election Officer to release the documents had it been in his possession, the police could have secured a search warrant to get the documents from him. The Registrar of the Supreme Court has 10 days to photocopy and certify the SOPs and SORs and turn them over to the Director of Public Prosecutions and the Police Commissioner. Currently, the Chief Elections Officer Keith Lowenfield, the Deputy Chief Election Officer Roxanne Myers, and the Returning Officer for Region 4 are among several persons facing charges related to electoral fraud. More news coming up in just a moment.
Guyana, we've been through it all.
But as a people we have
weathered every storm
And risen to every challenge.
Because it is the people of Guyana
that gives it its strength.
all the people,
regardless of race,
class, or religion.
We
are one people, one strength.
And now is our time. A time to rise. Together, we rise.
Listen to me, Guyana. This is DJ Garwin. I've just been vaccinated and I'm urging you to go get vaccinated also. Remember, the longer you take the vaccine is the more we're going to be locked down. So my people, go out there, get your vaccine, be on the safe side. Remember, vaccine works.
Farfan and Mendez Group of Companies are committed to promoting development through quality service and integrity. We offer our customers genuine products, reliability, and excellence in service. Our corporate head office at Providence affords you the added convenience of a spacious showroom with secured parking. At Farfan and Mendez, we continue to offer our customers a wide range of genuine and affordable German-engineered equipment. We also offer clean, green alternative energy solutions with our industry-leading brands of solar equipment. So, visit our new showroom at Providence and enjoy the service of our efficient and courteous staff. Farfan and Mendez, offering you solutions you can depend on.
Mobil 1 is more than oil. It's many oils. It transforms at the molecular level. When cold, it's thicker than honey. When hot, it's thinner than water. Mobil 1 adapts and readapts to last longer. 16,000 kilometers between oil changes. That's your engine evolved.
Sol Guyana is the authorized distributor of Mobil lubricants.
At Sosh Financial, we create strategies for strengthening business and personal finances while helping our clients to build sustainable wealth. Our financial and business consultancy services are uniquely tailored to ensure every client receives quality packages and optimal results. Our financial services include financial reporting and analysis, financial status assessment, internal audits, bookkeeping and records management, financial planning advice, tax returns. Our business advisory services are related to business plans, business startups, operational improvement, business management, document preparation, procedures development, efficient marketing. Call or WhatsApp us today for your free consultation on telephone number 592-665-6045. Sash Financial, strengthening businesses, building wealth.
We are legions of men standing strong, but never too proud to stoop and help someone. We must send a clear signal to all. Do right, walk in upright ways, knowing that's what being a man is all about. And ever aware that things will only get worse when good men do nothing. Stand strong, be the one to live right.
Mom, what are you doing with GPL on your list?
Child, you forgot I have to pay GPL?
You got time with GPL?
I have to keep these lights on. The customers who think in that manner and refuse to honor their obligation to GPL are obviously not playing their part in ensuring quality service delivery. So, I will continue to pay my GPL bill on time, every time.
I recognize the value of your point, Mom. You were right.
Welcome back. The Ministry of Health this evening announced that it has run out of second doses for the Sputnik V coronavirus vaccine, but shipments are expected soon. Thousands of persons are currently due to receive their second dose of the vaccine. In a statement, the Ministry of Health said while first doses are available at health facilities around the country, there has been a delay in the arrival of the second doses. It was noted, however, that a second dose could be administered between 4 to 12 weeks after the first dose. The Health Ministry also announced that the first doses of AstraZeneca and Sinopharm vaccines are also not available at this time. Only second doses of those vaccines are available. Persons who have already received their first dose of the Sinopharm and AstraZeneca vaccine have been guaranteed a second dose. The announcement of a vaccination shortage by the ministry comes as there is widespread concern by many citizens who got the first dose of the Sputnik vaccine and have been turning up to health centers and told that there is no second dose available at this time. The two Brazilian nationals who were arrested with almost 1,000 pounds of cocaine when they landed their small plane at Oriala were today charged for drug trafficking and remanded to jail. 30-year-old Andre Pereira and 65-year-old Salim de Almizer appeared at the Springlands Magistrates Court this morning, and they pleaded not guilty to trafficking more than 450 kilograms of cocaine to Guyana. The police prosecutor objected to bail on the grounds that the two foreigners were a flight risk since they have no ties to Guyana. Bail was refused and the two men were remanded to jail until their next hearing on the 22nd of June. The two were arrested 1 week ago after making an emergency landing with their small Brazilian registered airplane along a roadway in Oriala in the Berbice region. Police from the region were among the first to arrive on the scene, and they found over 450 packets of cocaine in the plane. The two Brazilian men were immediately arrested and the plane and its illegal cargo confiscated. The men reportedly told investigators that they were forced to land in Guyana because of bad weather and low fuel. President Irfan Ali used part of his first Independence Day message as president to address the current Venezuelan border claim. Venezuela continues to claim Guyana's entire Essequibo region, although the matter was settled decades ago. In his address, the president said while Guyana seeks to build friendly relations with its neighbors, it will not be bullied by Venezuela.
In our continuing struggle, we are not without friends. We deeply appreciate all those who have stood by our side, from the Caribbean, from the Commonwealth, from the Americas and beyond. The Venezuelans must understand that we sought no quarrel with them, and we do not do so now. Our only wish is to live in harmony and cooperation with all our neighbors. We hold out not a fist of war, but a hand of friendship based on respect for our borders and theirs. But we will not be coward, nor will we be bullied.
President Ali also said Venezuela has spent the last 55 years of Guyana's independence pursuing its claim, adding that this might have had some impact on Guyana.
We cannot recall the moment of Guyana's independence without also remembering the efforts of Venezuela to prevent it. As we released ourselves from the colonial curse of Britain, the Venezuelan government sought to stifle our birth by falsely laying claim to 2/3 of our country.
According to the president, Guyana remains resolute and confident in its position and is thankful for the support it has received from other countries.
They have spent the last 55 years of the independence of all of Guyana pursuing this claim. But international law is not silent. The International Court of Justice is a forum where the voice of international law will be heard.
Guyana moved to the International Court for a final judicial settlement to confirm the full legal validity of the 1899 arbitral award, which established the international boundary between Guyana and Venezuela. Well, Prime Minister Mark Phillips has written to retired Assistant Police Commissioners Paul Slow and Clinton Conway, asking them to show cause why they should not be removed as members of the Police Service Commission. Slow serves as the chairman of the Police Service Commission, while Conway is one of the Commission's members. The Prime Minister referenced his request to the recent charges that were filed against the two former senior police officers. His letter was dated the 19th of May. The charges came on the 20th of May. In requesting that the two former senior officers write to him before the 31st of May, the Prime Minister said that they need to show cause in writing why he ought not advise the President to remove them from their positions on the Police Service Commission. The charges against Mr. Slow and Mr. Conway are related to their work to revise the standing orders of the Guyana Police Force, and the $10 million reference to the charges represent the full payment that was made to all of the members of the team during the review and revision process over several months. The entire team is now facing charges. The retired officers have proclaimed their innocence and have pointed out that the revision exercise was stopped because of the elections and the COVID-19 pandemic. They have indicated that all the work that they completed was handed over to the police. The revision of the standing orders by the former senior officers was done on the invitation of the then Police Commissioner Leslie James. Slow and Conway believe that the charges against them have more to do with their work on the Police Service Commission and their decision to block the promotion of some senior officers because of disciplinary matters. One of the officers blocked from promotion is among those overlooking the fraud investigation against the two former Assistant Police Commissioners. Yesterday, 7 deaths were recorded and there were 6 deaths the day before. The death toll currently stands at 376, with 77 of those deaths recorded since the 1st of May, making this month the deadliest month for the pandemic in Guyana. Regions 3, 4, 8, and 9 continue to see the highest number in new cases. 98 new cases were recorded today. Yesterday, the Ministry of Health reported the highest single-day increase in new cases, as 236 new cases were recorded yesterday. There are more than 2,000 active coronavirus cases in the country, with 109 of those persons hospitalized. The health minister continues to encourage citizens to get vaccinated.
So if you have more people being vaccinated, it would mean that we would reduce the burden of the COVID-19 infection in Guyana. And that's the reason why we have been saying and we have been working to achieve herd immunity. Herd immunity really means that you have a substantial portion of your population that is immunized. So if the infection is present, then the infection would be limited in its spread. meaning that it would not affect a lot of people. If you are vaccinated, it would mean that when you're exposed to someone who has the infection, you would not be able to get it, or if you get it, you'll get it in a very mild form. So which means you would not be hospitalized, or you would not end up in the ICU and die from COVID. So vaccination prevents deaths.
This evening, there are 24 persons in the coronavirus intensive care unit. The move by the government to reimpose the 40% common external tariff on various soaps, including hand soaps and medicated soaps, is coming under criticism from the opposition. In a notice in today's newspapers, the Guyana Revenue Authority announced a decision to reimpose the 40% tax on soaps. Opposition leader Joe Harmon said as persons are being encouraged to keep washing their hands and sanitizing during this pandemic, the decision to return to the tax cannot be supported.
We remain in the throes of a global pandemic. An essential feature of the measures to prevent the spread of COVID-19 is for persons to regularly and thoroughly wash their hands with soap. The citizenry is more dependent on soap now than ever before. It was our APNU-AFC coalition which removed the common external tariff on soaps after the pandemic hit last year. This was intended to increase the availability of soaps and reduce the prices to make it more affordable to ordinary people.
The opposition said the reimposition of the 40% tax on soap by the government is unconscionable and will imperil the health of citizens. Mr. Harmon said already citizens are faced with the skyrocketing prices on basic food items in the marketplaces, with no attempt by the government to cushion the effects for citizens. The Caribbean Examinations Council has announced that the CAPE and CSEC exams for this year will be delayed by 2 weeks due to the coronavirus pandemic in the region. Guyana's Ministry of Education has confirmed the development. In a notice today, the Education Ministry said that all exams will be administered in their original format, with Paper 1, 2, and Paper 3, 1, as well as SBA, and for private candidates, Paper 3 and 2. The exams, which were slated to begin in mid-June, will now commence on the 28th of June, with a release of results slated for the last week in September or the first week in October. Recently, UNICEF raised concerns about students and teachers preparing for the exams and had urged Caribbean education ministers as well as CXC to review the current model and simplify the exams. CXC said the views from CARICOM, the ministers of education across the region, and the Caribbean Union of Teachers, as well as a number of students, were considered before the decision was made to push back the exams. CXC has also extended the deadline to the 31st of May for candidates to defer sitting the exams this year.
My name is Barton Scotland, former Speaker of the National Assembly. I have taken my vaccine and I'm encouraging everyone 60 years and over to do the same.
I'm Joseph Harmon, leader of the opposition, and I'm here to encourage all Guyanese to take the COVID-19 vaccine. In the coming days, we will be rolling out a few activities as part of our increased efforts to help us fight against this deadly virus. Join us as we come together to protect ourselves and our loved ones. None of us are protected unless all of us are protected. Get vaccinated today, protect you, and protect your loved ones.
Across the region tonight, Bolivia's ex-Interior Minister Arturo Morello has been charged in the U.S. with corruption and money laundering. Mr. Morello was arrested along with his chief of staff and 3 U.S. businessmen last week. The U.S. Justice Department said the Bolivarian officials took bribes from the businessmen who had won multi-million-dollar contracts to supply tear gas to the Bolivian government. They could face up to 20 years in jail if convicted. Mr. Morello's lawyer has not responded to requests for comment, the Associated Press reports. The 57-year-old was a senator before being named Interior Minister in the government of interim President Janine Anez. He was in the post for a year from November 2019. This evening, the Trinidad Guardian reported about 2,000 students in Trinidad appear to have dropped out of school since the start of the COVID-19 pandemic in March of last year. The Education Minister in Trinidad, Dr. Nian Gatsby-Dolly, said the group comprised both primary and secondary school students. She said figures from the School Supervision Division for primary and secondary school students, whom they have not been able to make contact with, stood at around 2,000. Of that number, she said people may have already existed on the school register before, while others may be new. There are approximately 225,000 students enrolled in primary and secondary schools across Trinidad and Tobago. In an effort to curtail the growing problem of school dropouts in Trinidad, the Education Ministry is now relying on the community police to help track down the parents of the children who have stopped attending classes. And finally tonight, international news. China has denounced U.S. efforts to further investigate whether COVID-19 came from a Chinese lab. U.S. President Joe Biden has said he expects to release the results of an intelligence report on the origins of the virus. China's foreign ministry accused the U.S. of political manipulation and blame shifting. It has rejected any link between COVID-19 and the virus research lab in the Chinese city of Wuhan. COVID-19 was first detected in Wuhan in late 2019. Since then, more than 168 million cases have been confirmed worldwide, and about 3.5 million deaths have been reported. Authorities linked early COVID cases to a seafood market in Wuhan, leading scientists to theorize that the virus had first passed to humans from animals. But recent U.S. media reports have suggested growing evidence that the virus could instead have emerged from a lab in China, perhaps through an accidental leak. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting and wishing you and yours a pleasant and safe night.